Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm in this bitch. What's up? How are you? If you're here, it's because you're meant to be here. I'm Gemstone, rare and precious. I see the God in myself, but I also see the God in you. So let's get into it. I want to talk about some things that have been on my mind the past few days. I've been doing shadow work this week because it is eclipse season and it is very necessary right now to look at those unconscious patterns and to really see them and dive into them and understand what they are from a different perspective, from a perspective that's not judgmental or shameful, but from a perspective that is accepting and open, because that is unconditional love. Unconditional love doesn't mean you have to do everything. You don't have to do the most. The most simple quality of unconditional love is that you are just accepting people for where they're at and accepting what is and holding acceptance for people to share their truth, even if it's mean or even if it's sad or fucked up or even if it makes you feel good. Just accepting it for what it is, allowing, holding space. Think about someone that unconditionally loved you once upon a time. That person held space for you to be who you are and accepted you, right? I think of my grandma whenever I think of that, but my grandmother held space for me. No matter how I showed up, she was there. And I love her very much. But yes, that is the most simple phase of unconditional love, is just acceptance, allowing people to be what they are. And that is not just about other people, it's also about every single part of yourself. Because you're not just one person. You're not just your ego. You're so much more than that. You are the universe. You have a whole universe inside of you, and it is reflecting around us. According to Deepak Chopra, there is more evidence that the whole world around you exists only in your head than there being evidence for the outside world actually existing. Like, there's more than not, you know? So it's just crazy. And because of that, I understand now, like, that shadow work and going in and accepting what once was in my mind and those thoughts that were in my mind is so important. It's important because those parts of me are going to exist as long as I don't weed them. And weeding is not just about pulling things. It's not just about pulling things and throwing them away. When you're weeding, you're pulling things out of the mud and the muck and the dirt. And you're seeing them. You're touching the weeds. You're seeing them come out of the darkness. And you're observing them. And then you have to throw them away or burn them. I like to burn them. I like to shine my light on those parts of myself and burn the parts that I don't need to keep. But that's definitely a key, is like, you have to see what is growing under the surface to be able to actually remove it. And when you're seeing it, you need to be able to do that without hatred or fear, because if you're afraid, you're going to stop and you're going to just leave it down there and you say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to deal with this. I can just keep piling more dirt on top of this. I can put more dirt on top. I can plant more grass. I can plant more seeds. But underneath all those layers of shit that you put on top of the pain is down there. And it's infecting the roots of the new seeds you're planting. It's making the flowers that you planted, the daisies in that one corner of your mind, yeah, it's gonna make them die. Because down underneath, there's an infection that needs to be seen. And I'm not saying that it is bad. It is just a part of yourself that needs your light and your love. It is your darkness. So much of the New Age movement takes us against our own darkness, makes us think us or them. But us and them are all inside of us. We're all reflecting, we're all one. Have you heard of the flower of life? The flower of life is a symbol that shows us that we're all one. And I've seen that symbol in my meditations. It's come to me. On my trips, it's come to me. I know very well that we are all one and we are all reflecting. So now when I'm in a conflict with someone else, I think more of what they represent inside of me than what they're doing. And I hold myself accountable and I see what in me has attracted someone like this towards me. And the more that I've done that work of like actually holding myself accountable for what's inside of me attracting this kind of thing, the less that I've attracted people like that. I actually don't have fucked up people around me anymore that are like reflecting the fucked up self that I had, because I've been healing myself. And the healing journey takes years. I've been on this for 5 years. 5 years I've been really, really committed to this. And I woke up in 2018 First acid trip in 2017. And I will say that 5 years changed the fuck out of my life. I have good people around me now. I have good things around me now because I am good people. I have gone inside and saw who I was being before I decided what I was doing was more important. Like, I used to think what I was doing was more important because we live in a society, right, where we have to constantly work. We have to constantly put in this work and this effort, and work makes us valuable in this society. But America has lied to us. It's not about what you're doing, it's about who you're being. And who you're being is the cause, and the effect is what you do in the world. That's the effect. The cause is what you be. So if you can go within and heal yourself and see what you're being and actually accept where you are now and accept this is who I'm being right now. I'll say who I'm being right now is someone who is eager to step into something new, but still thinking of the past, right? And I've been doing the shadow work. I'm not going to be that person much longer, but that's who I am right now. I'm still thinking, and my thoughts are in the past that no longer exists. But I'm here in a beautiful new moment, and I know there's beautiful new things coming for me. So I'm kind of like, got one foot in an old pond, another foot in a new one, and I'm raising that last foot out of the old pond, right? But when I raise it out of the pond, I see my leg. Like, my leg is coming out of the water, and I have to see, oh, is there any shit on my leg? Like, because I was in a pond full of shit, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like what it is. To step into the purer waters, you have to step out of the dark, murky ones and really see and accept the parts of yourself that have changed because of you going through that, and shine your light on it and clean it off. Clean off what's not you, because underneath all the pain, underneath all the lies, underneath all the hatred, all the fear, underneath all the shit is love. Underneath all the messed up things you did, underneath all the messed up things that Lucy said to you, underneath all the fucked up things that person did to you was love, because they had all these layers of pain on top of their love. Our heart's here. Our heart's the center. Your heart is called the heart center for a reason. Your heart is the center of your being. Love is who you are. At your deepest state, you are love, and I need everyone to fucking remember that. At your deepest state, you are love. But for thousands of years, humans have not been allowed to be freely loved. They haven't been allowed to be freely loving. They haven't been allowed to be free and unconditionally loving, because there was slavery. There was marriages that were based on like money and shit. Like, there was bondage by marriage. Like, it was just not cool. You couldn't survive, not even 100 years ago. Like, probably like, I think it's 60 years ago, that you couldn't even survive as a woman. You couldn't even buy a fucking car or a house by yourself without a husband. There was no freedom in love back then. You had to find a husband to survive. You had to. So much has been put against us, even a couple hundred years ago. Like literally like around 100 years ago, 150 years ago, slavery was still a thing. People were still like living on land of slave owners, even if they were free. Their minds weren't free. We're living in an era where we're finally free. And like, it's recent that we're this free. And I think people need to remember that shit. Like, everyone's like, oh, we're so nostalgic for times that we didn't live in. Like, why is everyone so nostalgic for these times we weren't even alive in? Like, the internet is doing this weird thing to us. Like, no, bitch, we're nostalgic about those times we didn't live in because we need to go look at them. We need to see what the fuck was going on in them and see the ancestral trauma that is in our minds and in our bodies being carried by that. The weight of slavery is heavy on the Black community. The weight of what has happened in South America and Central America for literally hundreds of years is heavy as fuck on the Native and Latin communities. It is heavy as fuck. We have not looked at it and seen it as a society because we're not all looking at it and seeing it within us. And I will say that the weight of being an oppressor, of spreading all that hatred, is heavy too. Everyone is dealing with a bunch of shit that they don't need to carry anymore because our society has changed. But we're all still fighting each other over all this shit that doesn't matter anymore. Because we haven't gone within and felt the pain and found the love underneath the pain. There's literally decades of pain, hundreds of years of pain in our bodies sent to us from our ancestors. Our ancestors have lived through some crazy shit, and finally humanity is in a time where things can change, where we can freely love each other because we are not bound by marriage. We are not bound by slavery or chains anymore. The only slavery that exists now is in our minds. So this is what I've realized today, that like we as individuals have so much power, right? We as individuals have so much power, But America has a codependent relationship with its people. I'll say it again. America has a codependent relationship with its people, and codependency is very prevalent and strong in our country. Everyone is going through this shit, bro. You're not the only one. People don't talk about it, though. People don't talk about it because they don't know how to face that part of themselves. And I'm here. My purpose is to help. My purpose is to shine the light on the dark parts of myself and on the world. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm making these videos. Because I'm going to shine this light, no matter what anyone says or does. Because when you shine your light, this is for my freedom fighters, man. This is for the freedom fighters. If you are here to fight for the love in the world. Because sometimes you have to fight for peace. Peace is a battle too. To choose to protect peace and love is as hard a battle as choosing hatred. But we can win. We can fucking win. America has had a codependent relationship with its people since the beginning. The lies that were told to us about our history, the manipulation, the breadcrumbing, the giving a bunch of attention, giving us this worth and value that we are the best country in the world, that we are amazing, giving us all these things we don't need. Supermarkets, like super centers, like those big ass Walmarts. Consumerism, buying all these things that we don't really need, buying a bunch of objects. The way our infrastructure is set up, making us all believe we need vehicles, we need cars, and spreading out our cities so that we do have to have cars. These have all been built. The way that our society works has been built to control us. But it's just like a codependent relationship where the narcissist is giving a bunch of great shit, great attention, great love, making you think that you're the one and that they love you so much and they care about you so much. And that's what America has done to its people. It has made us think that it really cares about us and that the American dream is alive and that this is a place where everyone can be free and we're all free. And then instead of actually giving us freedom, they give us a bunch of shit we don't need to make us dependent on them. They gave us all these stores. They gave us all this medicine that's not from the land. They gave us all this food that's not from the land, that's not natural. They gave us all these things we don't really need so that we wouldn't have our power, so that we could actually give ourselves what we need, so we could actually grow our own food or heal ourselves, so that we would depend on them. Depend on their money, depend on their culture, depend on their ideologies for stability. So now, because we've lived in this society long enough that everyone's numbing themselves, everyone's using the drugs they've given us, instead of the plant medicine that has come from the earth, that is naturally growing over here, that our ancestors fucking partake in, or partook in. I said partake because I'd be partaking in that now. But, our ancestors partook in these plant medicine journeys. They healed themselves. Our ancestors were connected to nature. The ancestors of this land that we're on right now were connected to nature. They held space for themselves to feel. They danced around the flames. And they sang their songs and their chants, and they were loud and proud about it. They were on a spiritual journey. The people of this land were in touch with the spirit and with their souls. And America has crushed their culture for too long, and it's fucked up. Like the white man, and I'm not trying to other white men. There's a lot of great white men that exist today, but I'm saying the white man who thought that he had to be strong, who was told by his father certain things that were just passed down, things that people didn't realize were wrong because they weren't feeling their emotions. They destroyed the people that did feel their emotions, the people that were in touch with their souls, the people that were listening to spirit and listening to God. In the name of God, in the name of a religion that is actually used to control people and has been used to control people for hundreds of years. It's sad. And I'm not saying everyone that is Christian is bad. Like, I know a lot of beautiful Christians. But isn't the power in us? The power's in us. And for so long, they've tried to tell us that it's not. That we need them. That we need their ideas. We need their government. We need their food. We need their water. We need all the shit that they have. But that's all stuff they just gave us. That's all stuff they gave to us. We didn't need it before. We don't need it. It's what they gave to us to make us dependent on them and make us think that we need them. and put us in the mind cycle that we need them and we can't survive without them. But that's not fucking true. It's not true. We don't need them. We don't need them. We have the power within us. And I know, and I think we all know, that the power to change the world lies inside one fucking person. You. Me. It's inside of you. You have to decide that you're going to change your life and you're going to change the way that you operate in the world. You have to decide that you're going to talk about these things to people that you meet. You have to decide that you're going to start taking action and doing what you can to spread awareness, to help people, to be there for people, to unconditionally love. Because like I was saying earlier, we're in the first era where we can actually really unconditionally love each other because there's not all these crazy restrictions anymore on humanity. We're freer than we've ever been. I exist, and that's proof of it. I'm a mixed child. I'm an adult. But I was a mixed child, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an anomaly. I'm a miracle. Any mixed child is a fucking miracle. And the way that, like, our society still wants us to be in a box when, like, those boxes are being broken down is insane. We need to free ourselves from the mindsets of being in boxes because we are free of those boxes now. But our minds still have to catch up. So that's why shadow work is so important, to look at your own codependent relationship with yourself and with the world and with the people around you so that you can actually understand on a deeper level the codependent relationship that's in our society. So we can actually break through this shit because we can change it. We can change this pattern. We can break this pattern. We are breaking the pattern. It might not be as fast as we want it to be, but it's happening. We're breaking the pattern. We're changing the world. We're changing the fucking world. One step at a time, but we're doing it. The fact that people like me exist. The fact that there's interracial couples even now. The fact that a woman can buy their house by themselves. The fact that we're connected on the internet all across the world. That's proof that things are changing very fastly. They're rapidly shifting. And I believe they are shifting in a good direction. But the thing is, underneath all the pain and hatred and fear is love. That's where love is. You have to get past all that pain. You have to stop fogging up your heart and covering your heart with fog and shit to distract yourself. You have to stop distracting yourself from your feelings. Because unconditional love is holding space for feelings, holding space for you to be who you are in the moment and to feel your emotions and to be there and to feel them and to actually accept them for what they are and accept yourself for what you are in this moment, who you are being in this moment. And once you accept it and you see it and you shine your light on it, that's when change starts. But the first step is acceptance. You have to accept it. Don't let them keep feeding you media, feeding you money, work, drugs, shit, food, to cover all the pain, to make you feel better. Because like I said earlier, underneath all the shit is where the real problem is. And underneath that real problem is love. And you can find the love. It's in you. I'm sure I will do more videos about this, but I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I was out last night and I forgot to take off my makeup before I did this, but bye.